Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Airsoft Al, and I welcome you to another, well, one that has been kind of brewing in a while now, and one that I've been needing to do an update to. Today we'll be taking a look at the 2008 Thompson and the modern King Arms Thompson, and we're going to be comparing the two, seeing how far we've come since 2008. Now, you're probably saying, now those who have been with the channel for a while now are probably saying, well, wait a minute, you already did this, an old versus new Thompson. Yes, I did do one, but I wasn't exactly as fluent as I was back then. I wasn't exactly as good as I was back then, I'll fully admit. I was still kind of fresh to the whole YouTube thing and what have you. The only thing I was good at was, well, I had a decent editor back then. Well, what am I saying? I actually had a great editor back then. Then, of course, my laptop crashed, and it just... I really do miss Power Director. I really do, guys. But either way, so we are going to switch to the POV camera, and we are going to see how good these guns actually perform with groupings test, distance test, and FPS. Or somewhere in that order, anyway. So, let's go over to the Thompsons, shall we? Okay. Okay, so here we are with the two Thompsons. We have the 2008 model Thompson here, and then of course we have the modern King Arms Thompson here. Now, the big difference between the two is that the 2008 model is all polymer. However, there are some elements that is still there from then and now, such as the Allen wrench, such as the Allen key right here, which is a allows us to swap out the barrels. The actual barrels themselves are still the same thickness all the way down to the actual end cap. And the actual body itself is still, well, some will point out that yes, some of it is what have you. The buttstocks themselves is actually the one thing I want to point out. The buttstocks, let's go ahead and bring them both here, as well as the grip areas. The grip, this one is actually thicker than the actual King Arms Thompson, although for some reason it's actually somewhat thinner as well. It's thick, but it's thin. While the King Arms Thompson grip is thick, is somewhat smaller, but still somewhat thick. It's kind of a weird diameter, diameter, you get what I'm saying, guys, it's kind of diametrically weird. Now, the buttstocks themselves I actually want to talk about. The King Arms Thompson has a much more thicker buttstock, while the King Arms, you get what I'm saying, the modern Thompson has a much more spacious buttstock, while the old one here does not, although that's to a degree some people can argue with. Now, when actually talking about them, we have to talk about the magazines themselves. And, of course, the question I get asked a lot about these two Thompsons is the cross-compatibility. Well, actually taking out the magazines, which, by the way, levers are both the same, but really we'll just be doing it like this. The magazine for the 2008 Thompson is a 30-round mid-cap. However, the spring does give out, so you're going to have to open her up and actually replace the spring with something a little bit more powerful, which I am about to do after I find the right size spring to actually replace it with. Well, the King Arms Thompson actually uses a high cap. Now, the big difference in the actual magazines has to be the thickness of the guides. And I've stated this beforehand. The guide thickness is actually rather staggering. The thickness is there. This one's a little bit more thin in the actual metal, while this one is extremely thick, which is why it had a hard time actually going into the King Arms, because, well, the guide is just thick, and I'm not going to push it all the way up in there, because if I do, it's going to be impossible to get out, such as, right there. Now, I could shim it down. I could actually sand it down a bit. I could actually Dremel it down a bit, but I'm not going to do that. As for the 2008 Thompson, because of how thick the well, because of how it is, if I even put a modern magazine in there, and yes, I'm going to be doing that, it's gonna wobble a bit. There is a bit of wobble, and it doesn't feed correctly. But then again, the feeding issue stems from the fact of how it's designed in the actual feed lip. The feed hole itself is actually somewhat not that good. Now, the way you can fix this is actually take the feed portion from the King Arms and pop it over here on the 2008 Thompson, which is why I wanted to talk about the cross-compatibility of parts, because they are cross-compatible. Now, let me go ahead and actually take off the parts, because this is where things get very interesting for cross-compatibility. So let me go ahead and do that.
There we go. Let's go ahead and drop this back in here. Which I'm going to have to get another screw. I'm going to have to find a screw that will actually fit in the Thompson buttstock, because this is the only screw that's actually holding it down. And then, of course, we take off this buttstock here. And how unlike this one on the modern day Thompson, it's just a simple one push and then take off. There we go. Now the biggest thing that you can actually see with these two Thompsons is in fact the gearbox areas. The gearbox areas are essentially the same. Both nozzles are the same position, everything there is the same. The biggest issue, well not the biggest issue, the biggest thing that is the huge difference between 2008 and now is that back then it was just simple, it was simplistic, it wasn't overcomplicated, it was just there's the spring right there, which you can actually upgrade by the way. I have seen people actually take these old Thompsons and have upgraded them with a better plunger head, with a better everything, even replace the plastic gears with metal gears, but all they did was basically take this gearbox and pop it in here. Now, would I do that? No, I would not. I'm not going to do that because, honestly, I like having two separate Thompsons. I love having one from the past, and I love having one from the present. What would I do with the past? Well, the past, I would actually replace the feed lip here, so that way it would actually feed better. That's just me. Now, here comes the fun part. We can actually replace the parts here. Oh, wait, that's the old Thompson. Here's the new Thompson. There we go. And all we have to do is just make sure the button is pressed. Oh, wait. Duh. That's why it's not going against the fucking charging handle. No, it's not. Okay, so. Or maybe not. What the hell? Okay, so we're having a tiny bit of an issue. Just a tiny bit. I can show you, ladies and gentlemen, this will not happen. Oh, okay, that's why. That's why. Okay, so. Apparently. This is just me seeing it, of course, and hello, loose screw. I'm gonna have to tighten you down, actually. That's another thing, actually. Both charging handles have a screw down. They're both screwed down by a simple Phillips head. I'll pop you back on there, because honestly, I don't want to lose you. I'm going to have to find a screw. I really am. The cross compatibility is there, still. And let me go ahead and take this off here. Yep. There we go. Let me go ahead and tighten this down a bit. Which, by the way, that's actually metal. I misspoke before in the last video thinking this was polymer. No, that's metal. That is an actual metal plate. I misspoke in the last video about this type deal. This is actual. But the big reason this is not going on, and this is apparent now, is because of these. These are actually keeping it from going on. Here, there is none. It is literally non-existent on this post. It's just these pins right here. This one, it's not going on because the actual pieces are, well, basically these are preventing it from actually coming in, while these are not. So there's the big difference. Oh shit, there's a BB in this one. Huh. Okay then. Now, as you can see, the two differences here are staggerly there. Now, let's go ahead and try putting the modern Thompson upper on the older Thompson lower. There we go. Just pop it on, and that's proving to be actually difficult. Hello. Ah, okay. There's the big reason. Or, no, wait. Check. Back. Ah! Okay. Ah, there we go. You gotta love how the charging handle prevents you from actually doing your job. And will it go on? There's the question. Slowly getting in there. Oh my god, okay. Here we go. Ah! It's on! Only so slightly. Only so slightly is it on. Oh, hello, that's actually broke. Okay, that's not good. I'm gonna have to take it off. From what I can actually see, that's not a good sign. It's really not. So apparently this is much more thick internally as well. Okay then. Okay, we're gonna have to take it off. Going to have to take this off. Apparently the cross compatibility stops at the magazines. Shit, okay. Okay. The only real damage to the Thompson has to be the... Oh, damn it, okay. Son of a bitch. There it goes, it's coming out. Okay. Ah, there it goes, okay. Whew! And ah, shit. And oh, that's not good. That is not good, that actually bent. Hello. Oh boy, okay, that's actually thin aluminum. God damn it. Okay, so, cross compatibility only stops at the parts. Speaking of parts, I'm gonna have to check on the, the feed lip. Make sure that bitch still works. Oh man, okay, so. Conclusion of today, ladies and gentlemen, is that I need to be careful when I actually try to put older parts, no parts on older parts. That's my lesson for the day. Be careful when I do that. There we go. Ah, there we go, okay. Yeah, it still works. That's a good sign. Okay, so I need to check this real quick, and only one of the supports apparently bent. Apparently that's the only thing that's happened, or... No, it's designed like that. Okay, it's designed to do like that. Alright, that makes me safe, but at the same time I'm a little worried. That's all loose. Actually, that's something I want to talk about, is the actual inner barrels themselves. The inner barrels themselves aren't that specific. This one has a tight bore, this one does not. But when looking at the actual uppers themselves, you can actually see a lot of interesting features that they actually do come into. Or at least tried to do, I should say. That's not good. Well, I went and cut it myself. Yeah. You know it's a good video when you know you don't get hurt. That's just a little scratch. Okay, I was about to say, I should have just got my hand open for you guys. Oh, boy. Okay, anyway. So, we are going to put this all back together, put both uppers on their respective lowers. And we are going to actually see how they perform, more or less. So, let's go ahead and get them back together. Let's go ahead and do that. And load the magazines up with BBs and actually see, well, how they perform, actually. Because I'm very interested to see how both guns perform on a full charged battery. So,
let's go ahead and do that. We're going to be doing distance tests, we're going to be doing FPS, we're going to do all that good jazz. So, let's get to it, shall we? Okay, so we have both loaded up with 9.6 batteries. This one has a butterfly or nunchuck style. This one has a brick, which is the sort of high-powered one. I cannot remember which one, but either way. So we're going to check out the 2008 Thompson, and we're going to see the trigger response and the rate of fire that this thing actually puts out for a 2008 gun. So, here we go. It's actually not bad for trigger response from from a gun from 2008. Full auto. Okay. Now we go with the King Arms. Modern day. And this thing actually does have a lot of weight. Yep. So, let's go ahead and load up these guns with their respective magazines. And let's get a feet per second on the chronograph. Okay, so we are going to start with the We're going to start with the 2008 first, because this actually had CQB. From what I understood, this did have CQB style FPS. So, here we go. And that was a non-read. 235, 233, 235, 233. But okay, yeah, 234 feet per second. Now let's go ahead and grab the King Arms Thompson. Let's see how this bad boy does. Okay, so let's see how she does. Semi-automatic. 372, 376. 369, 373. Yeah, it's basically in the 370s. Let's go with that. This is definitely not a CQB gun. It definitely isn't. This is not. This is CQB. This is not. Okay, so how many distance am I going to get on that? 167 feet. We're going to test that in the range. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and load up this magazine again to its full. And we're going to basically take it out, and then we're going to do some groupings test and all that good jazz, okay? Okay, so we are outside, roughly 200 feet away from the barn, which is way down there. We are at about a 4-foot elevated level, and we are beyond 200 feet, I'm not going to lie. So we're going to actually see if these things will actually reach that distance. So we will go with age before beauty. I'm going to take the first couple shots, and I'm just going to see if it's shooting straight or not. Okay, I do need to adjust the hop up. I'm trying to think. Is it this way? Yep, it's that way. Okay, so we will adjust the hop just a little bit more. Or, might be this way. Hold on. There it goes. Okay. There we go. Okay, it's shooting straight now. Oh, I'm going to give it just one more little turn. Yep. Okay, so Here we go. We are aiming directly at the barn, broadside. We're going to try and hit the metal wall. Yeah, it's dipping 5 feet from that. So, with the hop-up adjusted just right, you could probably get a better distance out of this. Now, here comes the fun one. The Thompson, the modern Thompson, the full metal Thompson, the King Arms Thompson. Here we go. Need to do a couple tests to see if I need to adjust the hop-up. That just hit the tree. That just... Okay, yeah, we're going to hit the barn. We are going to be hitting the barn with this. I'm not even going to lie, guys. Here we go. That was the barn. Barn. Went beside the barn. That was the barn roof. That was the barn. Okay, you know what? I need to actually sit and actually shoulder this properly, and I need to actually... Okay, here we go. Here we go. And... That was the barn several times over. What the hell is up with this gun? Now, granted, we are at an elevation, so we are actually going to walk down to the ground and actually see how these do in that regard. So, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we are now ground level at the barn. Now, ground level, this is roughly... If this is roughly beyond 200 feet, we are still roughly beyond 200 feet. So, here we go. We are going with the 2008 Cybergun Thompson. Here we go. Feeding issue. It's still not even hitting the metal. It really isn't. So, let me see if I can't get a little closer. I'm going to get to about here. That is still within the 200-foot range. I just don't know how far 200 feet we are. There it goes. It finally hits. Nope. Nope. Not. It's not even one to hit, which is a problem for me, but we're still roughly 200 feet. So, I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say if the hop-up is adjusted just right, you could probably... Yeah, elevate it a bit. So, yeah, that's interesting. Now, the King Arms Thompson, on the other hand. Let's go and grab that, shall we? Or, wait a minute, let's actually shoot from up here, because honestly, we still do have a bit of a drop, but not as bad as it was. So. Yep, it's hitting the barn. Let's step away a bit from the grass. Barn hit. Barn hit. Barn hit. Let's step back further. I'm going to say we're roughly 300 feet, if not anything. There we go. We finally... Wait. Nope, there we go. Okay, so technically I'm shooting over this way. I'm going to shoot this way. That still hit the barn. Still... That was still the broadside of a barn. That's still the broadside of a barn. What the hell? Okay, let's go even further back. King Arms, you make a decent little gun. Wait. Still the broadside of a barn. It's going over the barn. I have to actually... barn still. What the hell? What the hell? Yeah, we've come a long way since 2008, guys. We really have. And I'm using .2s. I was like, I'm using .2 gram BBs. That's the thing. That is insane. Like, okay, so max distance for this, 300 feet. Let's, or even beyond. I don't know. It's around the 280s. I'm gonna go with that because, Jesus Christ, you have to account for the hop ups. You have to. Okay, this one we're gonna say about 210, 220 maybe. We're going in that range because if I had to actually walk from the barn. You know, hold on. We actually do need to get a real distance test. So I'm going to go down to the barn, and I'm going to walk all the way back. So...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101. Okay.
101 feet is the max distance for the King Arms Thompson. 101, 100, 99, 98, 97, 96, 95, 94, 93, 92, 91. 91 is the max distance for the Cybergun Thompson. So there is a big gap in the performance when it comes to the actual hop-ups from back in the day and from now. So, I may have been underestimating myself, but I would not be surprised if the King Arms Thompson could reach beyond 100 feet, or even 150 feet. I would not be surprised. Granted, those are human feet that I'm using, not actual distance feet. So, here we are. I'm going to actually set up a target down there, and I'm going to shoot at it. So, let's get that going, shall we? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am out here at roughly 80 feet. Oh, no, wait. That was 80 feet. So I'm out here about 79, 78 feet. I'm going to be taking pot shots at that piece of paper down there, which is roughly a head-sized target. So, this is going to be interesting. And I understand if I miss, it's because my aim sucks. It's not because of the gun, it's because of my own damn self. I'm going to go ahead and take a couple shots to actually see where I'm hitting at. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move closer. I'm sorry, guys. I really am for the groupings test. Okay, so here we are, roughly 60, 50 feet out, give or take. I'm gonna get in the shade because honestly, I do not want to get in there. Here we go. Fuck it, we're going full auto. Fuck it. Yep, this is... The magazine is starting to give out on this, so if I had to, I'm going to have to replace the feeding lip and make it so it takes modern magazines, but even then, I'm not going to do that. So yeah, let me go ahead and show something I know a lot of you have been asking, will not know about this. This is how you actually get to the battery. A tray door is literally a lift up then pull, so you disconnect the batteries. Okay. Now, I was going to use a different piece of paper for the modern Thompson, but really, I missed every single damn shot because the hop-up on this sucker was inconsistent as fuck. So instead, I am going to use the same piece of paper, and we're going to see how it performs distance-wise. So, let's go ahead, get up here. Let's grab the Thompson. See how she performs at 80 feet. Or, my bad, 70, you get what I'm saying, guys. Okay, so, here we go. Here we are, and... there it goes. Damn it to hell. There it goes. It's hitting the paper. Fuck it. The BBs are hopping up so bad that I'm going to have to move a little closer. Now, I did hit the paper a couple times, but sadly I gotta move closer because the BBs are hopping up so bad. So, here we go. Okay, fuck it, we're getting a little closer because even then the BBs are still hopping up pretty bad. Turn down the hop up a bit, see if that helps. There it goes. No, it's going to the left now. What the hell? Okay, just hop just a tiny bit more. There it goes. It's hitting center now. Oh my goodness, this is the majority of the video right here, folks. Oh my god. But you know what? We all know it doesn't do well. But hold up, let me actually go down here and see what groupings I have got with semi-automatic. And then we'll go to rock and roll. Put it on safe. So yeah, the groupings on semi-automatic are kind of sporadic, to say the least. But the groupings that did make it on there, that's actually a bit of a palm-sized, that's a palm-sized grouping, even with the groupings we have. So let's go ahead and pick up the target here. Bring it over this way. Because let's be honest, we all know why we buy a Thompson. We all know why we get the Thompson. The only reason why we ever get a Thompson, besides of course Call of Duty World War II coming out and us getting a World War II loadout ready, we're here for the rock and roll. So, spray and pray, anybody? Yeah, I'm just acting stupid by this point. By the way, yeah? It does better in full auto than it does in semi-auto, as you can... Yeah, I'm sorry, you're calling your hits after that. If you don't call your hits from the semi-automatic, I'm flipping it to rock and roll and I'm just gonna light you up, I'm sorry. But seriously, that is just an insane grouping, actually. Like, even from far away, I probably could, like roughly 50 feet or so. I have actually done this in full auto and I have gotten good results, but Jesus Christ, that's just, yeah, I'm sorry, you're calling your hits, you really are. But anyway, let's get back to the studio and give my final thoughts. Well, I can safely say for certain that the Thompson AEG platform and just the Thompson platform in general has definitely come a long way. And what I mean by that is, this Thompson, even though it's a 2008 model Thompson, yes, I had to check. I checked the serial numbers. I checked everything. This gun was, in fact, made in 2008. With the magazines that it came with back in the day, with it being a 30-round mid-cap, and the fact of just a few minor things here and there will make it accept AEG magazines and feed well, is another good factor that I do like about this gun. Now, A few things I don't like about it, one of them having to be, well, the magazine. The fact that the magazine is not cross-compatible. However, that is a simple fix. Not only that, but the big thing is that all the parts externally are made specifically for this Thompson. What I mean by that is the magazine is made specifically for the Thompson. The magwell, the guide that goes into it is specifically made, so you're going to have to find the drum mag, or at least attempt to find the drum mag, but thankfully enough, Game Face has re-released this particular model of the Thompson as the Game Face SMG, or just the GF SMG. It is basically the drum mag version of this, which has a drum mag, which is very much so grateful. Now, as for the modern Thompson, we can definitely see a stark difference in FPS, build quality, which even in the quality on this is actually pretty good. This being full metal, of course, is another good plus. The fact of the magazines being now high caps and full metal as well is also a really good plus. The high caps will work in the 2008 Thompson, but that's just how it is. However, if I was to greatly say about them, I'd say have both. The 2008 Thompson is, of course, a really good CQB Thompson if you want that. Internally, you can upgrade the parts to make it a little bit more accurate, a little bit more better, and I would greatly say so, but at the same time, you'd be kind of removing that collector's value of it. Now, there are still some in stockpiles that you can get from Pyramid Air, which is an airsoft, which is a really good retailer, and I did get this for about $50. However, Amazon has went and bumped up the price to $120, which I find kind of scum and irreputable, to say the least. Outside of that, I can safely say that the Thompson design and the quirks with it have greatly not changed over the years, such as the way you take it down, the way it's designed, all of it. Every single bit and bob is still the same. Now, with that said, there is the question. Why would you even want to buy a 2008 Thompson? Or, correction, why did I buy a 2008 Thompson? Well, I bought the 2008 Thompson because, in all honesty, no Thompson collection is complete without it. And what I mean by this is that if you're collecting Thompsons, definitely get the 2008 Thompson because it is a perfect fit. It basically shows what we had back then to what we have now. And I don't care if it's the Snow Wolf, I don't care if it's the Matrix, King Arms, Cybergun, what have you. A Thompson's a Thompson, and they're built to last. And we see it in the 2008 Thompson. And honestly, I can understand why a lot of people still love them and why they still rock them. I myself. I will rarely take this out to a game, but if I do, I will only use it maybe once. And that's because I got the drum mag for it. And suffice to say, you will be seeing this in the upcoming, days. Because I can assure you, you'll see this in November when a certain game comes out. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I've been Airsoft Al. And let me know what you think. Would you go with what do you think about the 2008 Thompson? What do you think about the modern Thompsons? Do you believe we have come a long way since 2008 in the world of Airsoft? And as always, guys, stay safe, stay frosty, and I'll see you on the field. Till next time.